In this detailed explanation, we are learning about the human digestive system, including its purpose, the journey that food takes through it, and the roles played by each of the organs involved. The digestive system has two main functions, which are digestion and absorption. Digestion is the process of breaking down the large, complex molecules found in the food we eat into smaller, simpler molecules. For instance, carbohydrates such as starch are broken down into glucose. Proteins are broken down into amino acids, and lipids, which include both fats and oils, are broken down into glycerol and fatty acids. These smaller molecules are necessary because only they are small enough to pass through the walls of the digestive tract and enter the bloodstream. Once digestion is complete, the process of absorption begins. This is where these small, soluble molecules, along with essential vitamins, minerals, and water, are absorbed through the walls of the digestive organs and into the blood so they can be transported to cells around the body for use in building structures or for respiration to release energy. To understand this better, we can think of the digestive system as a continuous journey that begins when food enters the mouth and ends when waste is excreted. Along the way, various organs work together to process and extract nutrients from the food. The journey begins at the mouth, where the process of both mechanical and chemical digestion starts. Inside the mouth, the teeth perform mechanical digestion by physically breaking down food into smaller pieces through chewing. This increases the surface area of the food, making it easier for enzymes to act on it later. Alongside the teeth, the salivary glands release saliva, a watery fluid that contains the enzyme amylase. Saliva moistens the food to help with swallowing and begins the chemical breakdown of starch, a complex carbohydrate, into simpler sugars like maltose. Amylase, like other enzymes, is a biological catalyst, meaning it speeds up chemical reactions without being used up in the process. After chewing, the food is swallowed and passes down a muscular tube called the esophagus, sometimes known as the gullet. Muscles in the walls of the esophagus perform wave-like contractions known as peristalsis, which help push the food down into the stomach. Once in the stomach, three important things happen. First, the muscular walls of the stomach contract to churn and mix the food with digestive juices, helping to break it down further. Second, the stomach secretes pepsin, which is a protease enzyme that begins the breakdown of proteins into amino acids. Third, the stomach produces hydrochloric acid, which not only kills harmful bacteria that may have been ingested with the food but also creates the ideal acidic environment for pepsin to work effectively. After spending a few hours in the stomach, the now partially digested food is pushed into the small intestine, which is a long, coiled tube where most digestion and nearly all absorption take place. Before we look at the function of the small intestine in detail, we also need to consider two nearby organs that play a crucial role at this stage: the pancreas and the gallbladder. The pancreas releases a mixture known as pancreatic juice into the small intestine. This juice contains several important digestive enzymes, including amylase for breaking down carbohydrates, protease for digesting proteins, and lipase for digesting fats. Meanwhile, the gallbladder releases bile, a substance made by the liver but stored in the gallbladder, into the small intestine. Bile performs two essential roles. Firstly, it neutralizes the acidic mixture coming from the stomach, because bile is alkaline, creating a more suitable pH environment for the enzymes to work effectively. Secondly, bile emulsifies lipids, meaning it breaks large fat droplets into smaller droplets, which increases the surface area available for the lipase enzymes to act on. Once these enzymes have done their job, digestion is largely complete and absorption can begin. The inner wall of the small intestine is specially adapted for this task. If you could look closely at the surface of the small intestine, you would see that it is covered in millions of tiny, finger-like projections called villi. Each villus increases the surface area for absorption, allowing more nutrients to be absorbed more quickly. In addition, villi have thin walls that consist of just a single layer of surface cells, which reduces the distance that substances have to travel to enter the blood. They also contain a dense network of capillaries that help maintain a concentration gradient for diffusion by constantly carrying away absorbed nutrients. Furthermore, the cells that make up the villi themselves have even smaller projections on their surface called microvilli, which further increase the surface area for efficient absorption. Once all the useful nutrients, including glucose, amino acids, fatty acids, glycerol, vitamins, minerals, and water, have been absorbed into the bloodstream through the walls of the small intestine, the remaining undigested food material continues its journey into the large intestine. This leftover material often contains a lot of water, along with fiber and other indigestible substances. The main function of the large intestine is to absorb any excess water still present in the waste material. This process transforms the remaining contents into a more solid form known as feces. These feces are then stored temporarily in the rectum, which is the final part of the digestive tract. When it is convenient and appropriate, the body eliminates this waste through the anus in a process known as egestion. This marks the end of the digestive process, where all useful components have been absorbed and the body gets rid of what is no longer needed.